Well, hello there. How are you doing today? Do you feel like doing a little bit of DIYing with me? Well, come on in. Let's get started. What do I have going on for you for today? Well, guess what? Today, I'm partnering with Cricut to bring you some Dollar Tree blank sellable DIYs that I think you are absolutely gonna love. These are never before seen DIYs using the Cricut. I'm gonna be sharing with you some tips, some tricks on how to use Cricut Design Space and show you some maybe tricks on how you can use your Explorer or your Maker, your Cricut, doing some fun things that you might not have thought about doing with it. These are such budget-friendly DIYs that are bound to bang a great profit if you want to sell them at a craft fair. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna quit my gabbing, let's jump into it, and let's do some DIYing using our Cricut so you can become an entrepreneur and you can sell some of your craft stuff and have a bit of an income on the side, because why not? Because you can if you have a Cricut. Let's get to it. First up, I will be using these wood discs. These came in a 42 pack at Michael's for $5. 42 for $5. Separate them into groups of 5 and we're gonna make a set of coasters. So to do that, I'm gonna give 3 of them a good coating of the fawn and 3 of them a good coating of the fern. Here we are in Cricut Design Space. I'm gonna go up here to the new project tab. Clicking on that, it's gonna take us to our blank canvas. These 5 images are going to be coasters. Fun, right? Each of these images are images that I found that were pre-made when I searched the image search bar for home. So as I go through, you'll see here's one of them. There are several in here. I just picked out ones that I really liked. My coasters are 4 inches wide, so I went up here to the size and I did them just a bit smaller at 3.75. For this DIY, I will be using some black permanent vinyl. I'm gonna go ahead and click Make It. We are in fact using a mat today, so I'm gonna click Mat, click Continue. It's gonna take our images to our mat. Once your project appears on the cutting mat, you do have the capability of moving your images around. This is a bit too cluttered for me. I like my images to be a bit spaced out, even if it means using up a little bit more vinyl, I guess. It makes weeding and whatnot a bit easier. I am happy with where I've placed my images. I'm good to continue, and Design Space is then going to connect to my Cricut Maker 3. This here is the Cricut Maker 3, and boy oh boy is it a beautiful machine. I'm gonna power it up. I'm gonna go ahead and load my mat with my vinyl on it into my Cricut Maker 3 and press start. Let me take a minute to tell you a little bit about this amazing machine. The Cricut Maker 3 both looks and feels like a more premium Cricut. The textures that are used on the outer plastic of this machine feel so nice. The Maker 3 is an excellent digital cutting machine, a polished product that has the potential to work with a wide variety of materials. It's also easy to use. The Cricut Maker 3 cuts up to speeds 2 times faster, if you can believe that, than past generations. But cutting isn't the only thing that the Maker 3 does. It has a few more tricks up its sleeve. Drawing, scoring, embossing, engraving are more of the amazing features that the Maker 3 can do. Not to mention those specific cuts enabled by some of the more exotic blade tools. And if you want to draw or write, well, you can do that too using the Cricut Maker 3. It's creativity at your fingertips with this amazing machine. When I'm doing a DIY like today, doing 5 coasters that each have vinyls, which equals 5 designs on my mat, I like to separate my vinyl designs, and I do that by kind of cutting them and framing around them. When doing this, it makes weeding a lot easier because you're only removing a little bit of vinyl versus a whole sheet of vinyl. And it can get a bit unruly when you're trying to weed something and you've got a lot of excess vinyl. You find yourself trying to cut it off and maybe you pull up a piece that you didn't mean to pull up. There are several different ways of framing out your images to make weeding easier. This is one I would say that is easiest for beginners. And so yeah, kind of a trick of the trade and a bit of a hack. Once you've got your project all weeded, you're gonna take some of Cricut's transfer tape, you're gonna place it on top of your vinyl. This is going to transfer the vinyl from that protective sheet onto whatever DIY it is that you're gonna be placing this cool vinyl onto. I'm gonna go ahead and place my vinyl on the center of my coasters, and using the scraper tool, I can just very easily rub over the top of it, and it is going to transfer that vinyl from the transfer tape onto my wood disc soon-to-be coaster. Grab these adhesive cork sheets at Dollar Tree. On the back side there is the protective paper covering the adhesive. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that and place my wood disc onto the adhesive part of the cork and just remove the excess cork. There, I have just made, look at how adorable this set of coasters is. Now, if you want to sell this set, before bundling them with some of Dollar Tree's Baker's Twine, you might want to seal them with some Mod Podge or some of Waverly's sealant. This is a fun, cute set to sell at a craft fair that I think anybody would love. Jumping on into these DIY blanks, these sellable ones, this 36 pack of wood tags, you can find them at Michael's for $3. 36 of them for $3. Imagine the profit with that. These are great just as the raw wood tag, or you can paint them. Today's color scheme or theme for my DIYs is going to be using Waverly's Fern and Waverly's Fawn. I'm gonna give these a good coating on the front and the back side and wait until you see what I do with these tags. This is a hack you are not gonna wanna miss. For this blanks DIY, I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna start off with some text. So I'm gonna go over here to the text button here, and I am going to change the text to say to semicolon. Now, this isn't the font that I want to use, so I'm going to go up here to font. When I go to the font tab, you're going to see all of these A's. These A's are the fonts that come with the Cricut Access subscription. So those are free with the subscription. Anything outside of that A that may have a cost, you will have to pay extra for. I've already bookmarked some of my favorites. And one of my favorites is this BFC seashell necklace. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on that, and it is going to change my font to that of the seashell necklace. I wanna add a from, so I'm gonna get another text box here and change that to from semicolon. On the tag, I wanna add a bit of a decorative feature. So to do that, I'm gonna go over to images. Cricut Design Space has over 300,000 Cricut images for you to choose from that come with the Access subscription. So by clicking on that search bar, I'm gonna just type in swirl, because that's kind of what I'm looking for. It's gonna bring up all of the images that are available to us to use with that subscription. So when I find one that I like this one here, I'm gonna click on it. You're gonna see that it was inserted into this bottom bar here. Any image that you click on will appear here in this bottom bar. So when you click on add to canvas, it will then insert it giant size into your canvas. I can resize this image by going up here to size, and I'm just gonna start off by making it an inch. Now I'm using a tag, and it could be hard to make your images and your font proportionate to your project. You might have some mishaps. So to prevent those mishaps, I like to make a template. This is something that I often do by clicking on shapes. I can go into shapes and I'm gonna click on a rectangle here. And this rectangle isn't quite the shape of my tag, so I'm gonna make it the shape of my tag. I'm gonna go over here to shapes again. I'm gonna click on another shape, add it to my canvas. I need to trim off the edges here, so I've placed my circle on the edge here, on the corner edge where I want to slice off the end. I'm gonna highlight it. By highlighting it, it kind of bunches it together. I can then go down to slice, click on slice, and you will see that I can then remove these pieces and it will have sliced off that corner edge there. So I'm going to do that to the other side as well. And there we have got a tag. Now my tag has a hole punch. So I'm going to add a circle to this and I'm going to add the hole to my tag so I know where exactly I can put my decorative scrolls. My tag is 1.75. I'm gonna make my tag a bit lighter so it's easier to see the image in the font, and I can do that by going up to this square here and you will see the color of my tag is shown. By clicking on that, it will allow me to change my tag color, which I have then done. Now I can take my image and I can place it on my tag in the size in which I need and want it to be. An easy way to duplicate that size is by clicking on it, then right clicking, and you will get duplicate here. You can then duplicate it. If I want to flip my image, I can go ahead and come up here to flip, and I'm going to flip horizontal. So now it kind of mirror images the other scroll. Now all that's left to do is size my font. So by highlighting it, I can drag it to my tag. Now if you drag your font and it goes to the back of your tag, you can easily change that by highlighting it and going up here to arrange and clicking on bring it to front, and it will bring whatever images or font you want to the front of your canvas, because it's all in layers in Design Space. So now I can go ahead and size my fonts to whatever I want them to be. Now, I don't need the tag. So I can come over here to the side and I will see all of the images and fonts and shapes that I've placed on the canvas. Over here, you'll see an eye. By clicking on the eye, it makes the tag disappear. And if you want it to reappear, you can just click on it again. I don't need the tag. We don't need it cut out because I've got a wood tag. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight my images here. Up here, it says basic cut. We don't need it to be a cut. We need it to be written. So because we are using the pen feature. So by clicking on this drop-down menu, I can click pen, and now it is going to write. I wanna keep this highlighted because I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna click attach. If I don't click attach, let me show you what happens. When we go to make it, it will come up on your mat separate. So by coming to our image and highlighting it, we can then click attach, and now look, it is all one piece. And when we click make it, it's going to be one piece. Now when making this, I want to place my image on my mat where my tag is going to be. And this is about the area that my tag is going to be. I'm going to click continue, and it is going to connect to the Maker 3. The mat I'll be using today is this green standard grip mat for my tag. This is a stronger grip mat, but it's not the strongest. Once I get my tag placed where I need it to be on the mat so it can be written on, I am going to use some masking tape as well, just to really ensure that this tag stays in place when the Cricut works its magic. Hands down, the writing tool is one of my favorites to use. Once it's powered up, I am going to open the pen clamp. I'm gonna hold the casing when I insert the pen, just because I don't wanna break it. I'm gonna close that clamp and I'm gonna press load. This DIY is not inclusive only to the Maker 3. As long as your Cricut has the writing capability, you can do this DIY. I will tell you that you don't want to use a chipboard or a wood that is any thicker than this tag here. Dollar Tree, I think that their plaques are about the same thickness. If you ask me the measurement, I really couldn't tell you, but you kind of can get the gist by how thick it is, and just by adhering it onto the standard grip mat with a bit of masking tape, it is then going to allow you to use the writing feature instead of adding vinyl to this tag. Now, if you want to add vinyl, you can do that, but the pens are a bit less expensive and it's going to go a long way and you're going to get the same outcome. Once it's done, I'm going to unload it, and would you look at that? Yep, using the writing feature. Oh my word, such a cool project, right? These raw wood ones, oh, amazing, all on their own without painting them. But if you want to paint them, look at the outcome with these. Either way is a win-win. I decided to add some twine just to give it a finishing touch. If you wanted to add some twine with beads and maybe sell these in a 3-pack or 4-pack, 5-pack, you've got 36 in a pack. So you're gonna make a great profit, and it was all using your Cricut and the pen feature. You're gonna save more money using the pen feature than you would using vinyl, but either way, I think it's a great craft sell item. This wood paddle, it's another new Dollar Tree blank that makes for a perfect DIY for a craft fair. Again, by adding it to the strong grip mat, adding some of that masking tape to really hold it in place. This is one of those pieces that has a big blanket canvas on it for you to personalize. So once you've got it on the mat, good and tidy, it's good to load into your Cricut and you can see that it fits perfectly. Those white runners on the side on that metal bar, you do want to slide those to the end, because if you don't, you will get roller marks on your wood. So to prevent that, you can easily just slide those to each side. I'm going to be using a medium calligraphy tip pen today for this, because I felt like the thicker the tip, the better the outcome. So once I've got it good and loaded, you're going to see just how amazing this pen works on a bigger wood piece like this one. That, did I tell you? You can get it at Dollar Tree for $1.25. So when you DIY this with something like a pen, the profit is going to be amazing, and it's going to be a piece that anybody would love. And what's great about this paddle, guess what? You can make it a double-sided DIY if you wanted to. So it's a twofer, a win-win. This was an image that I found in Design Space. I didn't show you because it was one that I just searched for. I found it, I liked it, I sized it to fit this panel, and look at how amazing that came out. Now, I painted this panel. I painted one side the fawn and the other side the fern. And so I wanted to show you how you could make this a double-sided DIY. Now, you could really do this image upright or reverse it. It really is to each his own. So for this one, I thought I'd show you how you can do it both ways, so that way the purchaser of this DIY has their preference of, do they want the handle on top or do they want the handle of the paddle on the bottom? You choose. Tomato, tomato, right? So here I am showing you that the green side is done because you saw the brown side printing. Once I remove that tape, you will see that the brown side was face down. So we've got it this way, and yep, when you turn it over, it's this way. So it really is just your preference. Now to finish this off, I thought I'd just keep it basic and finish it off with some of Dollar Tree's Baker's Twine. If you wanted to add a little farmhouse floral bundle, you could, but I think twine finishes it off perfectly. What do you think? This is another Dollar Tree blank. It is a chalkboard framed stand. Yep, I'm gonna make this double-sided, and I'm gonna do that by just adding some black chalk paint to the back side. I feel like double-sided DIYs sell really great at craft fairs. In my experience, when I have done them, which is not something I do too often, because I'm not somebody who likes to do DIYs in bulk, truth be told. I get too bored. I like to come up with new things all the time, so doing something repetitively kind of gets monotonous to me, I guess. So yeah, just like I was saying, in my experience, double-sided DIYs are a seller at craft fairs. And so if you can do them using pieces for $1.25, again, it's a win-win. So just by adding some black chalk paint to the back side of this, and I do believe that I added some chalk paint to the chalkboard side because the texture looked different and I wanted it to look the same on both sides. I did decide to paint the wood frame with some white chalk paint using some white premium Cricut vinyl. I picked out a pre-made design in Cricut Design Space that comes with Cricut Access with your subscription. And this side is going to say kitchen open. And can you guess what the other side is going to say? Yep, it is kitchen closed. How fun are these? These are signs that you can find at Hobby Lobby. And I've always just loved them. I think that they are such a fun piece to add to your kitchen decor. And so yeah, with this though, I felt like something was missing, even though I just love the idea of, look here, kitchen closed, kitchen open. Fun piece, right? Double-sided, $1.25. I decided to take some of these wood utensils from Dollar Tree. They have them right now with the summer decor, painted them with some of the fern green, added a bit of a rub-on transfer to it. If you wanted to add some black vinyl, you could. And I thought that since this was a kitchen piece, this would be so fun to add as embellishments to this decor piece. And I'm gonna add one to each side, kind of finishing it off so that way no matter what side it's on, it looks finished. Let's go take a look at this piece, shall we? How about these real wood plaques at Dollar Tree? Yep, they're new. I'm gonna take some Minwax in my favorite stain color. That would be Early American Stain. When I apply my stain, I use a paintbrush. This is a cheaper paintbrush from Dollar Tree. It's one that comes, I wanna say, in a 4 or 5 pack. And I use something like this that's on the cheaper side that I don't really mind throwing away after one project. So to this wood plaque sign, yeah, on both sides, I'm going to stain it with the Early American Stain. And because it is a good toasty day out, because we are coming up on summer, this is gonna dry in about an hour. And I'm gonna do, like I said, both sides because we're gonna make this a double-sided DIY sellable craft fair item as well. For this DIY, I'm switching it up a bit and I'm gonna go with a cream vinyl by Cricut. This is a premium vinyl. So I've got both sides of my plaque good and stained. I went into Cricut Design Space, printed out a pre-made welcome. There are tons to choose from. I didn't show you because I feel like once I've shown you one, you kind of got the gist of how to look for whatever saying, phrase, or image it is that you're looking for. I sized it to the size that I wanted it to be, and using some of Cricut's transfer tape, I'm gonna go ahead and apply this welcome to one side. Welcome and Farm Sweet Farm. I love double-sided decor pieces, don't you? Pick up 4 of these heartwood cutouts that you can get from Dollar Tree. Nothing new here. You're gonna wanna fill in those pesky holes with some spackling, then give them a nice good coating of your favorite paint. Today, again, I'm using some of Waverly's Fawn. I cut out the word home with some vinyl, then using some transfer tape, I'm gonna transfer a letter on each of the heart cutouts. Then taking some wood beads, I'm using square ones that you can get from Dollar Tree. I'm gonna glue them to the sides of the hearts using them as spacers. To those end beads, I'm gonna add a twine tassel to finish it off. Only this piece is not finished. It was looking a bit too plain for my liking. It was missing some of my stitching. So going in with some of Waverly's Ivory and a thin paintbrush, I'm gonna add stitching to each of these hearts, giving it that homemade quilted feel. How about these set of 3 shiplap plaques? Alrighty, so for this last budget-friendly Dollar Tree blank DIY, you can see where I'm going with this. The cow, the rooster, and the pig. These are images that you can find just by searching under images. So with this, I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate it 2 times just to make it easy for the other 2 animals, so I don't have to search for the font. With this font, I'm gonna place it here in my cow. I'm gonna highlight my cow. I'm gonna come down here to slice. I'm gonna click slice. I can remove the milk and I can discard it. And I can remove this milk and discard it. And with that, I have a milk word cutout in my cow. I cut these images out using some of Cricut's premium matte vinyl. Now with this DIY, I feel like less is more. I feel like sometimes you can overdo a project or take away from the idea of what you're trying to bring to the DIY or the decor piece. And so with this one, I really am gonna keep it simple. And because there are 3 plaques, I figured, you know what? There's a plaque for a cow, a plaque for a chicken, and one with the pig that I didn't show that I put bacon on. And I'm gonna call it a day. Now, if you wanna replace the twine at the top with some beads to shush it up a bit, you can. But you know what? I love twine with farmhouse DIYs, and I think that this is just such a fun piece all on its own to add to kitchen decor. Such fun DIYs, and what I love about some of these is that they are double-sided, so it's kind of getting a twofer. I hope you enjoyed today's Dollar Tree blank Cricut DIYs. I think that these are great sellable items. Thank you, Cricut, for sponsoring today's video. If y'all are looking for more DIYs using your Cricut, some tips and tricks, well, guess what? You can click on the end screen video right over here, and it'll take you to some of my past Cricut DIY videos, how-to videos. Until next time, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day. Stay happy, stay safe, stay healthy, but most of all, stay positive, please, because I am. Bye for now, everybody.